Welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Whiskey Explorer. So, I'm very happy to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This will be my very first whiskey review. So thank you for joining me on my wonderful whiskey journey. Wonderful world of whiskey journey. That sounds a little bit better. Alright, so guys, I have a very, what I think is a very special bottle. Right now, it is my favorite whiskey. So I have to say, right now, because as you whiskey lovers out there know, as you go down this wonderful whiskey wormhole, you will find new expressions and new brands and new types of whiskey to try and explore, and that's the fun of it, is finding that next best whiskey. So right now, this is one I'm really enjoying. It's my personal favorite at the moment. This is the Ledaig 10-year. So here it is. The Ledaig 10-year. So, spelt L-E-D-A-I-G, but as far as I understand, the pronunciation is Ledaig. So Gaelic, of course, as this is a single malt Scotch hailing from the Isle of Mull. So this was cool and new to me, only a little ways into my whiskey journey, and so I was well familiar with Islay, of course, and some of the other islands, but I had not heard of the Isle of Mull. So this is a peated expression from the Tobermory distillery, and so it says on the label here, wonderfully peated. And I would have to agree with that. It is definitely wonderfully peated. And it's kind of cool. I was looking at a review website. I think it was either Master of Malt or the Whiskey Exchange. Not so much a review site, they're commercial whiskey sellers. But they said this whiskey can definitely trade blows with any of the classic Islay expressions. So think of the classics in that family. So the ones that come to mind immediately for me are Laphroaig and Laphroaig and Ardbeg. So I definitely think it's got that peat punch to it. So without further ado, this is the fun part, guys. Let's get into the whiskey. So the Ledaig 10, here we go. So, what can I tell you guys about this bottle here? Well, we've got 46.3%, and it's unchill filtered, and as far as I could tell from my research, uncolored as well. And that's how I love to find my single malt whiskeys, or Scotch, single malt Scotch. And, for me, I think it's just the most kind of natural form of the whiskey, and I like also that this one's bottled at 46.3%. So lots of, let's call them like lower shelf whiskeys, I guess. Scotches, you can find at 40%. Lots of blends, and 43% as well. So I like 43 is pretty good, but 46, in my opinion, that's much better. So let's get to pouring. So I've got a Glencairn glass here. You guys might see some spots on there. It's because I've already shot this twice now. So having some technical difficulties with the card. And so I'm just going to pour a little bit into that bottle there. So I already uncorked this, so sadly I think we lost that clip. So no cork sound tonight, but maybe next time. So here we go. Just going to pour a little bit in there. There we go. So that's a good, healthy size little dram we've got going there. And so on the color there, we've got this nice, beautiful kind of pale sunset color. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, that sounds good. And I mean, I'm no paint color designer here, but I will do my best to give you guys a good descriptor for the color on these reviews. So I'm gonna nose it, give you guys my thoughts on the nose. That's interesting. So this is now my third time nosing this whiskey. The very first time, I will tell you guys, I had a ton of the brine, a ton of the sea spray. The immediate note that popped into my mind was bonfire smoke. So that level of peat, really kind of a rich, dense peat flavor. This time around, when I'm smelling it, I'm getting like a lot more of the sweet notes. Oh, there was the brine there. And so more of the sweet notes. So I was getting caramel, butterscotch, a little hint of vanilla, maybe a little bit. As I go in there again, now all the brine's coming back. So interesting, this one. It's got this amazing combination of your peat flavors. So I'm gonna go with like a cured ham or a Montreal smoked meat. If you're Canadian, you will know what that is. Trenny C, they basically just eat Montreal smoked meat, poutine, and as far as I know, drink beer and Scotch. That's their four main food groups right there. Okay, so Trenny C and some of the other guys, Scotch for Dummies, talk about this quite a bit. The journey that a whiskey can take you on. So this starts with a big hit of the peat flavor, the bonfire. I think of like thick, rich peat, almost like a peat blanket of peat. Peat cloud, okay, dense peat cloud, and then you get smooths out, and you get like the finish and sort of maybe mid to late palate gets those sweet kind of more butterscotch, caramel, mellow flavors in there. Yeah, and I'm tasting it now, like kind of the finish, and it is a lingering finish. It lasts a really long time. This is got a great long finish to it, so if you like that, you like a whiskey that lasts, this is a good one to try. And so yeah, I'm getting those sweet notes in there on that finish, like really prominent. And so the mouthfeel on this one, viscosity note. A little bit of a shout out to the Trenny C again. I'm mentioning those guys a lot. Go check out the channel. So the viscosity, so medium, I'm gonna go with say medium viscosity on this. It's not got like a full mouth coating feel to it, but it's certainly not light by any means. It's definitely medium to full bodied kind of mouth feel there in terms of viscosity. And on that note, I am going to leave you until next week. So thank you so much for joining me on the very first episode of the Whiskey Explorer. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Sláinte.